In today's video, we're installing something that, in my opinion, probably should have been put on these cars from the factory, and that is a hood lift kit. Now what this is it's a kit with gas struts that lifts up your hood when you pop your hood, so you don't need to use a prop rod. For me, this is perfect because my intercooler piping got in the way of my prop rod, but even if you're not turbocharged and even if you don't have stuff in the way, these kits make it so you have more room to work on your engine, and they're just super clean and super satisfying when you pop your hood. The kit that we're installing today is from RSpeed Miata. They make a really nice dual strut kit, so there's a strut on each side, and I really like this kit. Let's get into the installation, and then at the end I'll go over a review. When you open your kit, you'll find your 2 gas struts in there, and then all of the mounting hardware that you will need to install this kit in your car. The nice thing about this kit is you don't have to do any drilling or permanent modifications, so if you ever want to take it out, you'll be able to do that without a problem. This is how the strut is going to sit in the car. It uses one of those fender bolts there, which we're going to replace, and then we're also going to replace one of those nuts that holds the hood mount on. The first thing that we need to do to get our installation underway is to replace this bolt here on the center of the fender with one of the ball studs that is provided in the kit. Once again, this is one of the mounting locations for the strut, and the ball stud just replaces the bolt that's in the fender, and it's a very easy swap. This is a 10mm bolt here, and all you have to do is remove the old one, put the new one back in, and then tighten it down. Don't over tighten these because they're not big, and if you snap a bolt, then it's going to be a bad time. I'll also note that they do provide nice washers to put under that ball stud, which will help spread out the forces of that bolt. Once that front ball stud is all installed, you could take out the fender bolt that sits behind that and replace that with the low profile fastener that they included in the kit. This just helps provide a little bit of extra clearance for that strut. Once again, it's the same process. Remove the 10mm fender bolt and then use a Phillips head fastener to install the new low profile one. This is once again pretty easy, and you just want to make sure that you don't over tighten this, and once again you could use one of the provided washers. Next, we need to install the mounting plate with the other ball end on there, and this will go right onto one of the mounting locations for the hood. So you need to remove the upper nut. This is a 14mm nut. Once again, just go ahead and take this off and then get ready to put your plate in place. Right and left are based on you sitting in the car, so right will go on your passenger side and left will go on your driver's side. To install the plate, once your nut is off, all you need to do is slide the stud that's on your hood through the slots that are in that mounting plate and move it so it sits as far towards the center of the car as possible. There's a little slot in there, you'll just need to line that up. And then once that plate's on there, you could use the large washer and tighten down that nut. Once again, get this thing nice and snug, but do not over tighten it because you don't want to break off these studs. To create a little bit of extra clearance, you want to just move the seal that runs along the firewall. You could just tuck this under the fender. You don't have to cut it off or anything like that. And what this does is just provide a little bit more room for that hood strut to sit really nicely in there above your fender and under the hood. And once that's done, you could go ahead and pick up your gas strut and remove the retainer clip that is made to hold the strut onto the ball ends. To do this, you just need to rotate it and pop it up out of place and then slide it out of the holes that it sits in. Then you'll want to go ahead and get your grease container out with your Q-tip and just apply a little bit of grease in those ends on the strut. This helps keep everything lubricated and prevents wear. And now you're ready to go ahead and install the strut on your car. To do this, you just need to carefully push the ball ends into the ends of the strut. They'll sort of pop into place and you'll know when they're secure, and then you'll be in really good shape. I will note that it's a good idea to keep your hood prop engaged or keep some sort of safety under the hood right now so it doesn't fall on you, because until the struts are in there, it's really not supported. Just be careful at this step. Once your struts are all installed and they're popped onto those balls, you need to go ahead and reinstall the retainer clip. Slide it through the hole and the slot in the strut that it sits in, and then pop it up into place to lock it in. Now all that's left is repeating this process on the other side of the car. I will note that this installation is super easy, and this kit is made to basically make this as easy as possible, and you probably could install one of these kits in about 10 minutes. And now it was time to give it a quick test. Let's get that hood prop out of the way and see how this thing actually works. The feel of these struts is very good. At first, there's not a lot of pressure, which is actually what you want. So down here, it makes the hood basically feel very light and almost weightless. And then once you get up to a certain point, those struts take over and it just smoothly rises up to a point where you'll be able to work on them. I did notice that these things sort of go up slowly at the end of the stroke, which is pretty cool. It's a nice smooth transition up to where they end up sitting, which is right about here. And now you don't have any prop rod or anything in the way that's going to obstruct you while you're working on your car. I think it looks a lot cleaner like this, and overall I'm really happy with how easy this installation was and how it just bolted right in. For me, it really didn't mess up any of my body lines or anything like that. That side body line is already pretty bad because the intercooler piping is still hitting my hood a little bit. And this side still looks really, really good even with all this added stuff in there. So I'm not too concerned about anything like that. I think it fit really nicely. The couple small things that I had just a little bit of trouble with installation is this clip right here was a little bit difficult to get in just because where you have to line up that retainer. That really wasn't a problem though. If you take your time, you'll get through that no problem. And then the other thing that really isn't a big deal is this fastener doesn't come all the way through this nut anymore. There's like a thread or two that's unused, which once again, we're using like 3 or 4 threads there, so it's not really a big deal, and I'm not at all worried about this coming off. But that's another thing that, just due to the factory stud length, is a bit of a factor. Now, you probably could run this without a washer. I'm not going to go ahead and recommend that you do that, but if it's a really big deal to you, you could run that without a washer and get an extra thread or so through there. And also, if you think that your kit is running too high, you could run these without washers as well, and that will give you a little bit of extra clearance. But once again, that was not a problem at all for me, and overall, I am very impressed with this kit. And so to wrap up, I am extremely happy with how the installation went with this kit and how nice it is. If you want to get this kit, go ahead to RSpeed's website. That is down in the description down below, and pick one up. To me, this is one of those things that should have been installed on our cars from the factory, but it's just a little bit of cost cutting that is the reason that we didn't get it. So with all that said, don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe for more, and I hope you stick around for more videos like this. Take care.